Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting episode of Unmute with Mohammed. Today we have very special guest joining us from United States, Frank King. Hello Frank King, how are you? What's your going day today?
I'm good. I am in the state of Oregon on the west coast of the United States.
Okay, so we are introducing Frank King. Frank King is a comedian, speaker, TEDx coach, author, and mental health advocate. What makes his journey unique is that he combines humor with important conversation about mental health and emotional well-being. So let's start our interview. Uh, Sir, I want to ask you what inspired you to become a comedian?
I was in the fourth grade, 9 years old. I told a joke. The other students laughed. The teacher was hysterical. She had to excuse herself to go to the teacher's lounge. She was laughing so hard. And I decided at that moment, at 9 years old, I was going to be a comedian.
Okay, amazing. Uh, so my next question is this: how did your comedy journey begin?
Well, it began there in fourth grade. And then in the 12th grade, my last year of public school, in the spring, there was a talent show. No one had ever done stand up comedy. And I won the talent show. And I told my mother I was going to go to Los Angeles to be a comedian. And she said, "No, you are going to college first." She said, "I don't care what you do when you get done. You can be a goat herder for all I care, but you will be a goat herder with a college degree." So, 4 years of college. And then I went to the West Coast to begin my comedy career.
So, uh, how did what was your very first comedy performance like?
It was April the 1st of 1984, a 5 minute comedy set at an open mic, amateur night. And halfway through my 5 minutes, I heard a voice inside my head say simply, "You're home." So I knew I was in the right place. 18 months later, I went on the road with my lovely wife. She came along for the ride. We were on the road, me playing comedy clubs for 2,629 nights in a row, nonstop, no home.
Okay, very amazing. So, uh, what you do in your first comedy show?
What do I do?
Yeah, like jokes and I don't know about you tell us.
Actually, I have become a public speaker, a funny public speaker. So I use my humor in my speaking. I speak on suicide prevention, and depression and suicide run in my family. So I don't tell jokes about depression and suicide, but I have funny personal stories that I put into my serious speech on suicide prevention.
Yeah, that's a smart move because people not want serious talks. So much people, but when you do funny thing in serious lectures, so they will enjoy that and they will very comfortable with that. So, who are your biggest influences in comedy?
In the beginning, David Letterman, back in the day, as they say. Um, and when I was young, a child and teenager, um, in the U.S., George Carlin, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Cheech and Chong, way back when.
Okay, amazing. I don't know about that because I'm from Pakistan, but from your side, I'm appreciating them. So, Very amazing. So, what was the funniest moment of your career?
Hmm. Funniest moment. Mm, good question. Um, I was opening up the opening act for a country western singer named Randy Travis in front of 5,000 people. And apparently, the joke I told to start with was really, really good. So that was, when you can make 5,000 people laugh, that was the moment.
Oh my god, very amazing. 5,000 people looking like they're good. So, what was the most challenging moment of your career?
What was the most?
Challenging moment of your career.
I was doing a show and there was somebody who didn't like my show and he pulled out a gun and he pointed at me. And he didn't pull the trigger, but he did point it at me.
Okay, okay. Yes, it is very difficult, like in school also. It's very. So my next question that how did you get the opportunity to write the Tonight Show?
Oh, well, a gentleman named Jay Leno was Johnny Carson's guest host. And Jay would get a phone call on a Friday that he was going to have to work the following week, which meant 18 jokes per night in the monologue. So he started hiring comedians to help write for him. So I would fax in 12 or 24 jokes a day, and some of those made it into his monologue on the show that week.
Okay, so that's interesting. So, what did you learn from working in television comedy?
Say again?
What did you learn in television comedy?
Oh, and television? Uh, I did Showtime's Comedy Club Network, Showtime's Comedy on the Road. I did Evening at the Improv, and I was a quarterfinalist on the original Star Search show, and I lost to a puppet.
Okay, so mm, how did you become interested in mental health at Walkie?
Well, depression and suicide run in my family. It's called generational depression and suicide. I have lost 4 friends or family members to suicide. I came very close to killing myself in 2010, and I have 2 mental illnesses. So it seemed like the thing that I should be speaking on.
Very sad about that. So, okay, so my next question is why do you think mental health awareness is important today?
Well, it's 25% of the people in the US have a mental challenge. Many of them don't talk about it. My job is to give them permission to give voice to their feelings and experiences, because to live a full life, it helps if you are, mentally healthy.
Yeah. So, how can humor help people during difficult times?
Oh, you know, laughing releases endorphins, which can help. Um, I do not use it as therapy, but some people do. There's actually a thing in the U.S. called laugh therapy, where people gather and simply laugh out loud without any comedy at all. They just laugh.
Okay, so what are some common misconceptions about depression?
Let's see. What are some symptoms? Yes. Well, people eat too much or they cannot eat. They sleep too much or they cannot sleep. They have trouble getting out of bed in the morning, so they're often late to school or work. And they let their personal hygiene go. Normally, they're pretty well put together, but you notice over the last couple of weeks, their hair is dirty, their clothes aren't quite so clean. It may be because they're having trouble getting out of the bed in the morning to take a shower and do a load of wash.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So, what advice would you give to someone who is struggling emotionally?
First thing I would do is get a physical because sometimes mental health conditions, sometimes physical illness presents as a mental challenge. And if they are fine physically, then I would get a mental health evaluation. Find out if they're depressed. Is it simple depression? Is it the depressive state of bipolar disorder? What exactly is it they've got? And then get medicated.
Okay, very good advice you give. So, uh, how can schools create better conversation around mental health?
I think every school should have a class on mental health, like they often have a class on physical health. You know, they often teach physical health, what to eat, how much to exercise. They tend to ignore the mental health elements. And I think in school, in public school, in the early grades, starting in maybe middle school, they should teach a class on mental health.
Yeah, like in dance school, they teach yoga and meditation.
Hmm,
So the we are very good, before the world.
good idea.
Okay, so what inspired you TEDx talks?
Because I had been a comedian for so long, I was afraid that no one would take me seriously. And my wife suggested do a TED talk so they would take you seriously. And so I did, and it worked. They realized that I could do something serious but with humor.
Okay, very good suggestion from your wife. So, how did you prepare for your first TEDx talk?
Uh, I practiced it over and over and over and over, right up to the moment I went on stage.
In the my first for an interview, I look like text. I uh, uh, like practice like you over and over the questions and intro outro. Yeah, that's looking like. So, what makes a TEDx talk successful?
Uh, I think you need to be passionate about the subject. You need to have humor in the talk. Often it's a good idea to have a surprise of some kind for the audience. Um, you need to have a personal story to begin with, and you need to, at the end, teach the audience something. The TED, the TED people who run TED Talks, they want to know what are you going to teach the audience.
Yes, yes, that's true. So, what are the biggest mistakes people make when preparing for TEDx?
The first mistake, the big one, is TEDx is one idea worth spreading, and the big mistake is people submit too many ideas. The second mistake, they submit too much about one idea. And the third mistake, it's a big one, is their application lacks creativity because TEDx talks get 400 or 500 applications. So you have to be creative so yours stands out.
Oh, okay. Uh, so, what is the most important lesson readers can learn from your book?
Most important lesson is that anyone can stop a suicide. You do not have to be a mental health professional.
Okay, so um, what inspired you to write your book?
Actually, I was invited by my two co authors. They were writing the books and they wanted to make them funny. So they contacted me and asked if I would make them funny. And I said, "You make me a co author and I will make them funny."
Okay, yeah, that's a interesting thing. So, what are your future goals and projects?
My future goal is I just did my 14th TEDx talk. I'm looking forward to number 15. I think that's my big goal is to get that 15th TEDx talk.
How many you have?
14.
Oh, amazing.
Are you in India?
No, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay, well, right next door. One of the TEDx talks I did was in the state of Assam at the
Where did
university.
it?
Yeah,
Okay,
there's a number of universities in India. The something I can't think, um, but they invited me. Of course, it was by Zoom, but it was in the state of Assam.
okay. So, what advice would you give to young people who want to become speakers, comedians, or coaches?
Let's see. I would say you need to pick one thing. If you're a speaker, pick one thing to talk about. All I speak on is suicide prevention. Um, that's the only speech I have. I would suggest, and comedians, I would pick a theme, something. So you have a singular theme of your comedy, generally about yourself. Make it about yourself. Uh, Coaches, get some training.
Yeah. So you have delivered several TEDx talk like you say 14 amazing. So which TEDx talk is your favorite personal and why?
Well, my favorite is the last one I did on the 4th of July. It's called Mental Health and the Orgasm. Treat your depression single handedly. I like it because it's very funny.
Okay, okay, amazing. I will watch after this interview. Okay, so what is the biggest lesson you will learn from speaking to audience around the world?
That speakers should make their speech about and for the people in the audience. It's about them, not about you, the speaker. You are there to make their lives better, to empower them to do something rather than just to talk about yourself.
Yes. So how has social media changed the way people talk about mental health?
Well, people have become more open about it, I believe, in part thanks to social media. Of course, social media can cause some mental issues, especially when you combine it with a smartphone. So there is some evidence that young people, I think in Australia, they just passed a law you cannot get on social media until you're 16 years old. So social media is something of a blessing and a curse when it comes to that.
Yeah, so much mobile you watch, so in your mental health, it's very dangerous for you. So yeah, so If you would have a conversation with your younger self, what advice would you give?
Don't go to college. Go straight to Los Angeles. Of course, my mother would never have spoken to me again. That would be the downside of that.
Okay, what legacy would you like to leave through your work in comedy, coaching, and mental health advocacy?
My goal is to save one life every day.
Amazing, amazing. Yes. So, what is the one question you wish interviews ask you more often, and what is your answer to it?
Say again?
What is one question you wish interviews ask you more often, and what is your answer to it?
Oh, um, let's see. Uh, what mental illnesses I have, and then I would tell you in case someone listening had something similar.
Oh, okay. So there's the time outing, so we're wrapping our interview here. So last question is, if you could leave one message for our audience today, what would it be?
The message would be that it does not take a professional to save a life or stop a suicide. You can make a difference. You can save a life, and you can do it by doing something as simple as you and I are doing, and that is having a conversation.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, sir. Frank, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your incredible journey with us. And it was inspiring learning about your experience in comedy, in TEDx talk and speaking and coaching, all your work. And thank you for your time. Because and I 1 year ago I am watching the TEDx talk of people, and 1 year after 1 year I am 14 TEDx talks speaker I will interviewing when a very amazing experience with you, and thank you for you giving your time, special time.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Thank,
So
thank
this
you,
is our
sir.
interview. So this is our interview with Frank King. So we will meet you uh, tomorrow. Not tomorrow. We will make you in another one interview. Allah Hafiz. Bye bye everyone. Bye bye Frank.